What's up, everybody? I was getting ready to film another YouTube video, sat down, realized I hadn't prepped a bait yet for the video, and then I thought maybe I should do a short video real quick on how I prep my baits. I get my blanks from a lot of different places on online websites, and most of them come in pretty good condition. However, some have bumps in them. A lot of people have complimented the clear coat, or my baits look good with the clear coat. I think the clear coat's only as good as the prep work in your paint job. So if there's bumps on the blank before you paint, there's going to be bumps in your clear coat later on. So I'm going to do a quick video. I'll flip the camera around, show you guys exactly what I do. If you want to see the video of me painting this bait, I'll have it linked to the very top of the description below. If you're an early bird, you'll probably have to wait a little bit because the other video will still be uploading once this one's up. So let's prep this bait. Okay, so I've got two baits. I'm going to prep one and not prep the other, and I'm going to just do a base coat of white. That way you guys can see it more. And I might have to use my phone to get a close-up shot on this. But you can see there's a little bit of rough spots on it. And you can see on the belly just a little bit. There's like some lines. I've got these other baits too. Again, I might have to use my other camera to show a better close-up of it. But there's some rough spots from the mold. So what I do is take a piece of, this is 600 grit sandpaper, and I just do a real nice light sanding on it. Nothing too extreme. You don't want to add extra scratches that you're going to sand out later, but it's just a nice way to smooth off those little bumps, and it'll make your paint and clear coat look a lot better. Now there are some baits that I've got before that are super rough. Those I will go ahead and take a harder grit sandpaper, maybe like a 200 or something like that, to really, like I said, they're pretty rough. So you knock it down, but I always like to finish it with a 600 grit. Okay, got the bottom and the top sanded. So you can also see on the bill how there's like, I don't know, a weird spot, I guess, from the mold that will show up later after the clear coat. So I always take the sandpaper and just kind of rough up the bill as well. Again, nothing crazy because you don't want to make more scratches that'll show up in your clear coat. And this also helps when there's not a camera between you and the bait, so you can see exactly what you're doing. I got that bill pretty well done. I think it's ready to be cleaned and then taped up. I did want to show you on this one, you might not even be able to see it, but I can feel it. There is a bump on the lip right there. So I do take that and I'll kind of just bump that down a little bit too. Again, you don't want to do anything too crazy because it's going to affect the bait. You know, if you sanded one side of the lip super hard, it might make it swim differently. This is just knocking off the initial bumps that are on there. Now that we're sanded and ready to move on to the next step, I take some rubbing alcohol and I wipe the whole bait down because there's going to be finger greases on there or oils from the manufacturer, whatever it's going to be. That'll prevent your paint from sticking. Now, if you're selling baits or you just want one that's going to last a long time, I highly recommend doing this because you have a nice clean surface. Your paint's going to stick a lot better and last a lot longer. These are extra steps. It takes time. I get bored doing this when I have a whole bunch of baits I'm doing, but I think it's worth just the little bit of extra effort to have a good quality bait. I'm going to wipe this bait down again after I get the bill taped up. I wanted to clean the bill right now. That way, after it's painted and I take the tape off, the bill is already ready to go. Sometimes I do have a little bit of sticky residue from the bill. That's no big deal to wipe it back off, but I want to do most of the work. That way the alcohol isn't coming in contact with the paint job. As far as taping the bill, I just use painter's tape, and then I will line it up with the eyelet and the corner of the bait right there. I always think it's better to get paint on the bill because you can wipe that off or scratch it off with a little X-Acto knife later, rather than getting the tape all the way up onto the bait. It's really hard to go in and touch those up after you're done painting, especially if you have a bunch of different colors on there. So I bend that over. Grab another piece, do the same thing, go in the other direction. And there's two little triangles on either side of the eyelet. I found it quicker after paint, just use a X-Acto knife blade and scrape that away rather than trying to cut tape to fit into those little spots. And then the last thing I do is I'll take another small piece and I'll use the square edge, not the torn edge, and I'll butt it right up against those. That way you have a nice square line down at the bottom. And I don't know where my pair of scissors are at the moment, but I usually cut off the extra tape, that way it doesn't get in the way. After taped, I stick it back on, I put it on the stand, and then I'll take just a little bit more rubbing alcohol and I'll wipe it down again, just because I was touching it with my fingers. Now, you can either take a hairdryer to it to evaporate the alcohol, or just let it air dry. I wouldn't recommend wiping and immediately start painting, because the alcohol is not going to agree with your paint. And that's pretty much it. That's all there is to it. I'm going to do a base coat of white on this one, and I'm going to do a base coat of white on a bait I did not prep. That way we can hopefully see the difference. Again, this set of blanks I got, they're all in pretty good shape, but you should be able to see a difference, especially if you get some baits that are pretty rough. It's worth doing these little steps. I'm going to do that base coat of white, then we'll get some close-up shots of it, and we'll be right back. So it might be kind of harder than I thought to tell on camera the difference between the two, but the one on the right is the one that we didn't prep, the one on the left is the one that we did prep. Now you can see, if you look closely, there are some bumps on the one that was not prepped, and it's a little bit smoother on the one that we did. There are a couple spots I did miss on the other one. It's hard to show it on camera, but give it a try yourself. Let me know if it works for you. I do think either way you should definitely clean the surface of your bait before paint. It's just going to help it stick better and make a better quality bait all around. So it might be kind of hard to see the difference between the two on camera, but I guarantee you if you do this to your baits, you'll be able to notice a difference, at least in the way that the bait looks and after you're done clear coating. Now I'm going to be doing a crawl pattern plus how to add your logo to the fishing lure with this bait. Like I said at the beginning, once that video is uploaded, I have it linked in the very top of the description. Hopefully this helped you guys. Let me know in the comments if it made a difference for you, if you noticed a difference in your baits. Thank you guys once again for watching. Make sure to tackle your green, and I will catch you later.